Bud Adams is a very important figure in the history of Nashville.
54 years of football, 409 wins, and a trip to the Super Bowl.
For me, I walked these halls. He was always here.
More than just a football icon.
He's the guy who elevated the city up to a major league city.
Tonight, we honor the legacy of NFL legend and Tennessee Titans founder, Bud Adams.
Now, this Sunday, the Tennessee Titans will be playing their first home game since the passing of the team's owner, Bud Adams.
During the next 30 minutes, we'll take a look back at the life, legacy, and legend of Adams. He is well known for being a football pioneer and had a big hand in shaping what the NFL is today. In 1959, he co-founded the American Football League, which was a rival to the National Football League. 11 years later, the two leagues merged to form what we now know as the NFL. His Houston Oilers team later moved to Nashville, becoming the Tennessee Titans. And that's why tonight we are honoring him. Let's start with an in-depth look back at Adams' career.
Long before friends called him Bud and he owned the Tennessee Titans, Kenneth Stanley Adams Jr. was a young boy growing up in Oklahoma. When it came time for college, he attended Kansas University, where two of the most important aspects in his life formed: a love for his wife of more than 60 years, Nancy, and a passion for the oil business. The most famous merger in his life didn't come until later. In 1959, Adams launched Houston's American Football League franchise, the Oilers. But he wanted more, and he used all of his business savvy to make it happen, luring LSU All-American Billy Cannon away from the long-established National Football League.
I called this guy up and I said, listen, I don't care, Billy signed with the LA Rams, who drafted him #1, but whatever he signed for, I'll double his bonus and his salary. And here's my number, and tell him to call me collect. It was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I told my wife, I said, I bet I'll get a call in about, I'll say another hour. In 22 minutes, I will remember this, 22 minutes, here came the call. Mr. Bud Adams, collect call from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Will you accept it? And I said, it's for Billy Cannon, isn't it? Yes. How'd you know that? I said, well, just put him on the phone.
And in 1970, the AFL and NFL joined forces as one. For the next 26 years, the Oilers represented Houston with players like Dan Pastorini and Earl Campbell. They were part of Love Ya Blue at the Astrodome. But the love affair with the city of Houston eventually soured. Bud Adams wanted a new stadium. City officials weren't willing to give it to him. So Mr. Adams looked elsewhere.
I have to say, when he first called, I don't, we had just been worked by several basketball teams and stuff who were really using us as a negotiating ploy. And I have to say, when he said, I own an NFL team, I did raise my eyebrows a little bit.
It wasn't a joke. And in 1997, the Houston Oilers became the Tennessee Oilers. Bud Adams bringing the NFL to the mid-state.
I think he changed Nashville. We became a major league city.
When I spent time with Mr. Adams back in 2011, he told me the move to Nashville was one of the best things that ever happened to his franchise.
I knew this was the place to have the football team. To me, they're the greatest football fans in America, these people in Nashville. And that's been proven out when we've sold all the tickets, we sold all the suites, all the 12 years we've been here. And you can't ask for anything better than that.
A successful move eventually followed by a successful run to the Super Bowl in the 1999 season. It's the only time Mr. Adams ever made it to the big game, but that hardly damages the legacy of this pioneer in pro football.
He's meant a great deal to pro football, as you know, starting as one of the Foolish Club members and making such a difference through the AFL and then the merger. He's had a great impact on the game.
High praise for a man who always found time to dance in life, even on the football field.
Soon after news of Adams' death was announced, the Titans organization started paying tribute to their co-founder by flying flags at half-staff at LP Field and at their practice facility at St. Thomas Sports Park in Metro Center.
Well, Bud Adams clearly casting a big shadow. He and the Tennessee Titans influential here in a lot more ways than just on the football field. Mr. Adams' decision to bring an NFL franchise to Music City has had a positive impact on this community. As Fox 17's Eric Alvarez shows us, that is true during the best and the worst of times.
Like many Nashville newcomers, it didn't take long for Sam's Sports Bar and Grill waitress Alyssa Reinkartz to catch Titans fever.
Every Sunday, especially when they're away and everyone's not at the game, everyone's here watching the game.
Reinkartz learned Monday that Titans owner Bud Adams, the man who brought NFL football to Nashville, had passed away.
It's pretty sad for everyone in the Nashville community and everyone who's stuck through with the Titans for so long because he's been such a pivotal person in bringing football to Nashville.
Sean Sample is actually a Colts fan, but he didn't let something as small as a divisional rivalry keep him from recognizing Adams' impact on Middle Tennessee.
Anytime that a team and a community loses an icon like that, it's just devastating.
The fans will remember how Adams brought the NFL to Music City and how his team came 1 yard short of a Super Bowl title. But Ellen Lehman says Adams' biggest contributions didn't have anything at all to do with football.
The legacy for Bud Adams will, I believe, be one of investment in this community.
Lehman is the president of the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee. In 2010, Adams presented her with a $400,000 check to aid the organization's efforts to help mid-state families recover from the historic May flood. Lehman says that's just one example of how Adams and the Titans have stepped up for Music City.
The former players and the current players are continuing to help this community. And I think that legacy of caring and of commitment will carry on for generations.
Eric Alvarez, Fox 17 News.
Proof of that, at just about every home game, the Titans choose a cause or a charity to support. At their last home game, the team collected hundreds of coats for local charities. Coming up next, what some Titans players have to say about Bud Adams' passing. And the team's former head coach, Jeff Fisher, weighs in on the man who made him a head coach.